Ladies and gentlemen, one of the reasons Donald Trump backed Kevin McCarthy is because CNN, just now, McCarthy gives Tucker Carlson access to January security footage. Washington Post, House Speaker McCarthy gives Tucker Carlson exclusive access to footage. Okay? I did a segment on this earlier, but Trump is essentially releasing this video footage to Fox News through Kevin McCarthy because it shows that Democrats were lying. It shows that MSNBC and CNN, the Washington Post, the Times, other publications were not giving the entire story or outright lying about what took place. There's a reason that the January committee, composed of Kinzinger, Cheney, and a whole bunch of Democrats, did not want the entire footage out there because it exonerated almost certainly a number of people. When you see the entire footage, almost certainly you will realize that, yeah, it was a terrible day and it should never have taken place, and I condemn it, and it was horrible, but it was not the way it has been portrayed by media in general. Trump did not foment or did not compel people to commit criminal acts. Furthermore, a number of people were simply let in. Then there's the issue of potential involvement by others who have not been part of the story, okay, who haven't been addressed by government officials during an investigation, okay? So there are a number of things we will learn. This is a very, very important event. There are going to be revelations here that obviously news did not want you to know. So there's a reason that Democrats fought the release. They didn't want to release this. Republicans, when they were not in power in Congress, tried to get access to all the footage. They were stopped and blocked by Democrats who ran the House of Representatives. Now, the House of Representatives is run by Trump Republicans, not the Paul Ryan type Republican, okay? That type of Republican is just fine with never-ending military conflict in Europe. A Trump Republican wants an end to it. See, that's the main difference. When you have, like, when they use the phrase, oh, the Make America Great Again Republican, well, that Republican is against, that populist type of person is against never-ending military conflict. That used to be very important to people on the left, okay? That was very important 20 years ago and 60 years ago to people on the left, or maybe they were just pretending because they saw, well, a Republican was sending Americans in harm's way. And so then, because the Republican was doing it, then they pretended to care about ending military conflict. Anyway, the point is, you have a different type of Republican. They're not going to simply revere and worship state power. They're not going to give reverence. They're not going to give this reverence to media, to government agencies. They're going to fight back, or at least push back, on a very, very flawed narrative. Hit subscribe to this channel. I'll be here throughout the day. In the next every 2 hours or so, check the channel. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications. And also become a Patreon to my new Patreons. Thank you so much. The Patreon link is below. The super thanks is below as well if you enjoy my work. Your super thanks support is greatly appreciated. And like I said, every couple of hours, be here today because a lot of things are taking place. The footage will be aired on Fox News. They'll try to... Actually, there's really no way to debunk or... What they're very good at doing is hiding in plain sight. So they like to defend the indefensible. So the Twitter files, for example, they will focus on bureaucracy. They'll say, well, this is just bureaucracy. The Federal Bureau of Investigation was actually notifying Twitter of people who broke the law, broke their own guidelines. So therefore, there was no real government involvement. They were just notifying Twitter of Republican accounts who broke Twitter guidelines. And then 250,000 accounts were suspended and Trump was banned. The problem, however, is that there was a political motive. The government did not just work with Twitter to help Twitter become more profitable. They did so to silence a certain political viewpoint. That means you're breaking the First Amendment. The First Amendment was broken by government agencies and by Twitter officials. They did so for a political motive. The people who say, well, there's nothing wrong, they think that the FBI officials who were working with Twitter were apolitical. This, of course, is not the case. They had a great deal of contempt, and they didn't like Trump. From day one, they don't like Trump. The agents investigating Trump despised him. We know that from their text messages. But we also know that even if you want to say, well, that's not true, they can have their own opinions. Where is the Federal Bureau of Investigation or any agency working with Twitter to silence Democrats, liberals on Twitter? Oh, that's not how the algorithm, that's not how they ran their company? Exactly. The company targeted and went after a conservative viewpoint. Government sided with the company to silence a conservative viewpoint, and you have the First Amendment eviscerated. Okay. They managed to circumvent, or at least, they'll never admit that they're wrong, but they managed to simply say, well, that was just protocol and it was completely illegal. A lot of the things they do are legal, unfortunately. The problem with the footage is that it is going to expose that a narrative was created. It's going to exonerate Trump. It's going to make all the people who said that he tried to overthrow the government look silly and foolish. This was a terrible day and a terrible event, which I condemn. But there was a whole summer of $1 to $2 billion in property damage. Again, I support why people demonstrated that summer, but not a word from Republicans or Democrats about that summer. When there was chaos, political chaos suits one political side, they're silent. When political chaos and mayhem does not suit and it can hurt Trump, then they pontificate and preach and condemn and judge. And that's why the average American does not trust media or government, because they can see what's taking place. Even people who don't like Trump can see that a whole bunch of people are ganging up against Trump. They can see that media and Democrats and never-Trumpers are going after Trump. They can see that there is a concerted effort by a whole lot of people, even strange bedfellows in politics, to go after Trump, to lie about him. And even people who don't like Trump can realize that. Okay? That's what, the never-Trumpers don't understand. The never-Trumpers have convinced themselves that if they could just find a good candidate like DeSantis. DeSantis is fantastic, but he's fantastic because he's like Trump, not because he's like Mitt Romney. And the second that media really turns their sights on DeSantis, and the hit pieces are endless like they are with Trump, suddenly the never-Trumpers will realize, oh, goodness, media really doesn't, it wasn't about Trump. It was about a game plan, a rubric, a roadmap, a template against any Republican. The issue is, after 2016, they didn't level enough animus towards Trump. The media didn't do enough to stop Trump. Government agencies didn't. Okay? Tech companies didn't. They realized after 2016, if they don't level every single advantage that they have, from tech to media to government agencies to Hollywood to everything that had nothing to do with politics, like awards ceremonies, if they don't level everything against Trump, he runs away with it. Already he's defeating Biden in polls. And that's with the entire American political establishment and entertainment and tech all against Trump. Imagine if we went back to 2016. 2016, we crossed the Rubicon into complete madness. That's why I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee. They realized, the machine, the system, whatever you want to call it, realized that if they don't lie endlessly about Trump, his policies work. We had record low poverty in 2019. And his foreign policy is much better than what we see now with 90 seconds to midnight. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. This is a huge event, ladies and gentlemen. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. The security footage is going to completely exonerate Trump. Give me your thoughts. Thank you.